Welcome to the
worst podcast ever.
Also known as Faith and Whatever. In this week's segment of the
I bet that would be very popular.
Pop topic.
we are discussing Pokemon Go. Here's why. It has single-handedly raised Nintendo's stock somewhere in the neighborhood of like 20%.
Really? It was
since came
8%
out.
last I checked.
Maybe it's 8. And what an absolute... I just throw out numbers. Nobody's going to fact-check us because not a lot of people watch, so
Nobody
whatever.
likes us.
So here's the beauty of... okay, first let me do this. Author, podcaster, blogger, wife, female extraordinaire, pregnant, and other womanly things. CrossFitter. What else do you do?
I think you covered it. That's
Makeup
pretty good.
tutorialist.
Hunter-gatherer.
Gatherer.
I'm a gatherer for sure.
Awesome
YouTuber as of now.
YouTuber.
I think that's good.
Time burner.
Yes, and her name is Nicole Lynn Rowan. You can find her as a champion of women's rights in the church, women equality, women in leadership. Me not giving her a chance to explain this stuff all for herself because I'm a male. All the classics of male misogyny.
Stop mansplaining it all, Josh.
Yeah, and so there
I find
it
that
is.
offensive, Chris.
Because
Wait, what?
so we are here to discuss Pokemon Go. If you're watching this, that means you probably watched our religion segment where you caught a lot of Nicole's brilliance in terms of her sharing.
Unless
So
this comes out first.
This is no, it won't. It may not might, but this is going to be epic. Pokemon Go. We are on. Wait, let me try this again. Social media, Faith and Whatever. faithandwhatever.com. Just type in Faith and Whatever to any search bar of any social media platform except Pinterest, and you'll find us. We're actually not on Pinterest yet.
How
You
about Snapchat?
should.
We are on Snapchat.
3 minutes later,
on
we're
Snapchat.
into the topic.
So you don't have 25 minutes worth of Pokemon stuff to talk about or contribute, James.
Yeah, we do.
So the value of Pokemon Go. We are...
Can you explain to people what it is? Because
Yeah.
my mom watches this podcast
Because
and she
nobody
has no idea
knows.
what Pokemon Go is.
Pokemon Go is geocaching
They don't know what
with
that is
Pokemon.
either.
Yeah. It's geocaching with Pokemon. If you guys would stop interrupting and let me explain, we wouldn't have burned
Off
3.5
topic.
minutes. See how we go through this every week. It's like, hey, you be the host. Now I'm gonna host instead of you. Geocaching is where you go to certain locales that are interesting, different parts of cities all over the place, and you
get
can
stuff.
get things there again. And so the value of this is to connect you with other people, to get outside your house, to walk around, to do things. That's what geocaching has become. It is very popular in certain subsects. It's a fun thing to do. It's a good way to meet people, go out, blah, blah, blah. So they have taken that idea and conflated it with Pokemon to make it something that you go to these various locations, and on your way to these various locations, you can catch different Pokemon.
On your smartphone.
On
with
your
an app.
smartphone. With the iPhone, it's called Pokemon Go. With the Android, it's probably called something like Pokemon Go.
It uses augmented reality, right?
Yeah, augmented reality is a fun thing that wastes your
I
battery.
turn that off.
AR basically where it'll project the Pokemon on top of your camera's surroundings. So if you're pointing it at your toilet, you might see a Pidgeotto on your toilet.
How long has this been out?
It has been out, trash Pokemon.
4 or 5 days?
It's been out since last Tuesday or
And
Wednesday.
since last Tuesday, what level in this game are you?
Chris, what level are you?
10.5.
10.5, Garrett.
2.
2, James.
0.
Don't play. Nicole also doesn't play, but that's okay because she's going to be a mom. So
I'm feeling
And she's
convinced,
better
though.
than all these other people.
yeah, and so I'm somewhere around that range as well.
To admit.
I'm a little almost like 15 or something like that.
So did you know that by Thursday, it was the most downloaded free app
Yes.
in the App Store, but also the highest grossing financially app ever in the App Store.
Yeah, and this is interesting because it dethrones
By 3 days.
It dethrones long, great running games like Supercell that has put out Clash of Clans and Clash Royale. James is a totally non-FCC player, which is a filthy, casual gameplay type
I'm
person.
neither filthy nor casual.
Yeah, he doesn't enjoy
That's what they call
cell phone
smartphone
games.
games.
Yeah,
iPhone
and
games.
this game is super epic, largely because what it does is it gets people out of rooms, locations that we would normally sit in and play Xbox games, and really that's all you play because the other enemy will not be named or talked about on this podcast. That's never mind. So it gets us out, gets us moving. Over the weekend, Chris and I went Pokemon hunting. And we dropped 2 lures next to the cop station in the local city where we were at.
Can you drop a lure anywhere, or are you dropping at
You have to drop
Pokestops?
them at these places called Pokestops, where you go and you get your type of reward. You get Pokeballs, revives, heals, blah, blah, blah.
Items.
Stuff that are all specific to the game.
Let me interject here. I think nobody who's watched other episodes would be surprised that you, Josh, are into this. This is the surprising fact. Chris, how much do you like this?
It's not that I love Pokemon, it's that I hate losing. And my wife is like ahead of me, so I gotta.
You gotta show her how to play video games. She cannot beat you at video games.
That's
Well,
awesome.
she can't work any controller that has 2 thumbsticks. So this is something we can do together.
Notice how he's thought of an excuse to get by the fact that he is totally in love with this game.
Well, I like walking around, and I like talking to random people. So it kind of.
And this is the beauty of this game by and large.
I'm basically a homeless person that's not homeless.
And so,
Walking around, talk to
all
people.
day, talk to anyone who will
Talk
listen.
to yourself, whatever.
Yeah.
and this game functions as an awesome free date night, and this is why we play it so much. The first night it came out on Wednesday night when my wife and I downloaded it. Excuse me. We were up until 2 in the morning, walking around our neighborhood looking for Pokemon to catch, and we were talking about life. We were laughing. We were talking about the upcoming sermon. I know it was so sweet. And as we continued to level up together, our conversations have become there's a multifaceted dimensional aspect to our conversations now. Not that it wasn't there before.
Pokemon brought substance to your marriage.
It added more substance to
Okay.
it, and that's the beauty of it. It's nonsensical, it's mindless, but it also gives you a point. You can hold hands
It gives
while
you
you
an
play,
excuse to go wander around somewhere.
and
I could play this with my daughter. I think she would get a kick out of it.
yeah, if we had kids, we might do that. I probably still wouldn't because I want to.
Let me ask you a question. Once you get all the Pokemon in your neighborhood, do they come back?
They're regional
respawn?
around the world.
Yeah, so they are regional around the
No,
world.
no. But
Well, they do respawn.
wasn't my question. They
the
respawn.
same Pokemon do.
The same one. So like you already got them all in your neighborhood. There's no reason to go back through your neighborhood again.
It depends on what you want to do. So the regionally specific part is important because you have to catch an X number amount of them to get them to the final Evo form, and because of that, you're able to.
So if a
catch the same
Squirtle's a
one
block
over
from
and
my
over.
house, it's always going to be a Squirtle
No.
there.
No,
Oh.
it will always appear in that region. There, so I don't know how they measure regions.
Do they move
so
around?
far? Yes. There. So one
I think his
example.
question though is if he captures that Squirtle, he can capture another one later, which I
Yes.
believe he can.
Not another
Yes.
Squirtle. That location, is it useless now? Where I found that Pokemon?
No, you might find another Pokemon there later on, but it probably won't be a Squirtle. It might be, but it depends. It also depends on the commonality of said Pokemon. So Rattatas pop up all over the place. Pidgeys, worthless. Basically,
They pop up randomly because I looked in the neighborhood today and there was like
In
one,
regionally
one
specific
little
locations
leaf
there.
thingy, and they'll always be near that little leaf
yes,
thingy.
yes. So New Yorkers are complaining largely about having pigeons and rats be the main things that pop up. Is that New Yorkers or New Jerseyans?
Both, I heard.
Yeah, two awful towns where people are
Maybe they're
complaining.
not Philadelphia.
Yeah, no kidding.
I mean, nobody's Philadelphia.
Except Greece. Greece might be the worst
I thought it was
version.
Italy.
Italy, that's the same thing. And so they
We were
are
just
complaining
gonna
about
offend
Pidgeys
everybody.
and
Being offensive to
Rattatas, continually reappearing, like the main animal that I kept seeing. And basically the game's like, well, that's because you live here and it's a whole bunch of pigeons and rats, so deal with it. But the idea is you go to different places to find different Pokemon, essentially. And so that's what's kind of fun about it. It's because there's 150 different Pokemon that are available right now, and they're regionally specific, and the game is brand new. It has people traveling all over the place to go find them. I walked a total of 16 miles this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, to go find Pokemon. Chris and I, how many miles did we do yesterday?
We did 9 miles last night.
Yeah, so 9 miles just to find these animals. And so we're going to talk very quickly about some things that have popped up in the news. Hackers love this, and a few robberies have already been committed by this. People are dropping these things called lures at these Pokestops where people go to gather and collect Pokeballs, revives, heal spells, different items in the game, as well as catch
And a
wild
lure
Pokemon
attracts Pokemon, right?
to that specific area.
Like an insect.
Yeah.
And everybody else can see it on their map.
Yeah, and so if I drop something here, right?
Uh-huh.
If this house was a place that you could do it at per se, people, as far as as long as the Google Maps app can show the location on their phone, they can see that there's a lure. that's
Can we
good for
both
30
can we
minutes
all
here.
catch the same Pokemon?
Yes, yes. And so as these Pokemon come, everybody can catch it. It's a good way to meet people, good way to talk to strangers, yada, yada, yada. People have started robbing people doing this.
What do you mean?
There, like they have been...
Drop a lure, then mug somebody?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
drop a lure, and then it's a good way to steal cell phones there and kind of catch something pretty quick. A woman has already found a dead body in the local greater LA area.
Someone rescued a turtle they found in a parking lot.
And so I thought it was a real life Squirtle. And so it's interesting. We have had great conversations with people, and So anyway, people are using it to mug, but hackers are also using it to gather information,
Yeah, a
right?
little warning here. Don't follow your Pokemon into some dangerous alleyways, right?
Or if you do, just be sure you can catch it on the first try. Right? If you're out of raspberries, you might have a problem, if you know what I mean.
I was just going to make sure you know how to actually fight, not just with Pokemon.
Yeah, you can't throw your phone. You can throw your phone at somebody.
That's what they want, though.
But Charizard will not defend for you.
And it's probably true if you haven't taken care of it. But yeah, James is totally right. Don't just pay attention to your surroundings, like with anything else you do. You're already on your phone Snapchatting and not paying
Dude,
attention.
everyone else
anyway.
has already given the warnings. I'm not. Why are we giving them two? Everyone knows.
Because we got to be ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
And if you don't know,
Don't pay attention.
now you know.
Chris doesn't like you as much as I do.
Just catch the Pokemon no matter where it is.
And-
Walk right out onto the freeway and grab it.
And that's true because then Darwin takes over, and then that's more Pokemon for me to catch.
Wait, so explain this to me because it's not a physical something, right?
Correct.
Or
Right.
is
It's
it?
all in the game on your
So
phone.
when you get to close to the location, does your phone just recognize that you're
Yeah.
there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's augmented reality, so it's using your camera, so you could look at this room, and the Pokemon is in the room. And then you have to try and catch it or whatever.
So it's as close to real life.
But your phone is constantly checking location, so it kills your battery fast. So it's really a whole scam to get you to buy phone chargers.
And it's totally going to work. So hackers have been using this as like installing third-party sites on to get information and things like that. So be aware.
Hey, let's wrap this up. There's a lure down the street.
That kind of stuff. And so the thing that we really wanted to talk about, and I think Garrett and I disagree on this pretty sharply, is the value that this has for churches. So one of the things that Niantic does, which is the company that started this game, is they have a different geocaching game where you could have, as a player, submit different locales to
Was that
the
Ingress?
game. Yeah, Ingress is the name of the game. You could submit different places to Ingress as places like portals that people could go to. And it turns out now that 70% or near thereabouts of the check-ins of the Pokestops are religious institutions. So it could be mosques, could be churches, could be Catholic Church, which is kind of the church, but not quite Protestant. And so I'm just kidding. There are these different stops that you can check in, and 70% of them are religious. So
if New York has mostly pigeons and rats in their Pokemon game, do churches get like Jesuses on crucifixes?
no.
I'm just
This
curious.
is what it looks like.
No, so it's a fun...
Is that a lure?
Yeah, that's what we were saying.
I've never seen that before.
So, so it's been an interesting conversation. So now churches are freaking out. My Facebook status was full of pastors who were saying, hey, we're going to have a lure at the church tomorrow. Come be a part of it. I literally tied in Pokemon Go to a sermon on lust in Matthew 5:27 on Sunday.
Man.
And it worked. And so...
It's not that I don't agree that there's potentially will be some value. I think one, there's this fervor, there's this anxiety. So I follow this. I'm part of this youthmen.org everyday youth pastors Facebook group, and there is like 60% of the posts are about Pokemon Go and what should I do? They're like these no, I'm not making any gender stereotypes, but there's like these female youth pastors going like, oh my gosh, I don't know what Pokemon Go is. Like, am I missing out? Like, oh no. There's like this anxiety that this is the next. I don't even know. Like, and so
Pokemon
there's
starts with a
there's these
P.
articles out there in Forbes and CNN that like Pokemon. They're just reading the title.
Yes.
Pokemon Go is bringing people to church. I'm like, holy crap, I'm missing out on this, you know? And I think that outreach is much more strategic than just like participating in some kind of social media online game.
I do not.
Without having a better plan. And I think that potentially it could be used, but I think 90% of it is just going to be super cheesy. So I'm not going to say any posts, and the chances that this guy watches this is very rare, but this guy's like, oh yeah, man, I put out a bucket on our sign with flyers for our church and free waters that say, like, Pokemon, join our Pokemon team, meet back here, like, whatever. You know, I'm like,
Well,
dude, that is so cheesy.
But
Like,
there's a further level because my understanding is people can sort of trade Pokemon, right?
Not yet. It's coming.
It's coming. So I think the goal would be like not only to like set the lures to bring people to your church, but that if you get a gathering, the further reason to come is because you'll have all these other people who've caught their own Pokemon and they'll be trading and stuff.
Here's
It's like
my
a really good
here's my goal
lure
as,
of human
as a
beings.
youth pastor. I've caught a third of all the Pokemon that exist already. And they're like 52 out of the 150. And so
you love this game. You want to get paid to play this game. is what
Not
you're trying
really.
to do.
Not
yeah,
really.
yeah, you are.
I'm too good. And so they couldn't afford me. So at this point, Mewtwo is the
No, I
only...
mean, your church, your ministry.
Josh.
You want to get paid to play Pokemon.
I
Go.
already do.
Tell
Josh.
your boss, it's my job.
I do.
I just figured out the long-term plan here. Do a couple of lures at your church, bring in some people, sell that this is a good way to bring people to your church, and then say the regional send me on a vacation to some places to pick up rare Pokemon outside of our country.
You're totally
So
shooting,
you can
you're totally
bring them
shooting all my
back
plans
and-
out into the wind, dude. You're totally kiboshing all my plans before I can even get them off the ground. So here's the reality. Once trading becomes an integral part of this game, which it will be,
You're gonna give away all your Pokemon.
my goal is to get so many
'Cause you can
good
breed 'em, too.
Pokemon that people are going to want to come to church. My students' friends are going to want to come to church just to be able to trade the ones that I have. So I will be able to say, hey, look, I'll trade you whatever, a Zapdos or like a level 589 CP Articuno for
know
like
what that
2
means.
weeks of you hanging out with us. Okay? And give it to them.
Bribe them into the kingdom.
And it's look, to all things I become all things.
Oh, people.
This has been the basic strategy of youth ministry for a long time.
Forever. People did it with pizza and
Yeah,
dodgeball in the
exactly.
90s. I'm just doing it with technology now. And
But
here's
there's good
why-
ways to do it and there's bad ways to do it. Wouldn't you agree, Chris?
No, any way is a good way to do it. Like, if it gets people
I
in
want
the
to know what
doors,
Nicole thinks about just completely unconnected to Pokemon using video games for outreach. And not just video games, but this idea of this interactive Pokemon game.
I'm not opposed because I do agree.
swish.
I do agree that if this is an attraction, there's so many other attractions that our churches use: hand out free water, have a free picnic, have a
Okay.
festival, those types of things.
Right.
So I'm very
outreach.
curious. I'm very curious as to help me understand the lure or even the Pokemon, because you can't, as a youth pastor, can you just have one? Can you put
It
one
costs
out?
money. It
Yeah,
costs
so
money.
you drop a lure. It lasts for 30 minutes. Any player on the map can see it, and should they so desire, they can come to your lure place, your lure location, and hang out there.
And rob
So
you.
we dropped a
I can
lure
see
last
how
night.
that would be
Perfect.
dangerous.
Yeah.
That's why
So,
you go to the lure location by the police station, like us.
so we dropped a lure last night, and this car pulled up, and these guys got out of the car and sat down. They're like, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much for dropping the lure, guys," and then sat down and proceeded to hang out near us for the next 30 minutes until we got bored and left. And so we're gonna try this. I am not kidding. I'm trying this out in like 2 weeks. That we're going to this mall by where we live. We're gonna drop some lures and hang out with people. I'm gonna have contests for my students. Whoever gets the most rare Pokemon or finds the coolest or gets the most whatever, they're gonna get prizes. And then whoever is able to have a conversation about Jesus with somebody is gonna get into a prize. Because I think the valuable thing about this is teaching our youth and understanding that. Because this is different than social media, right? This is a different outreach platform.
It's a tool.
Because of the instantaneous gravitas that it holds for everybody who's playing. Because everybody who's playing is of a like mind, and you don't have to appeal to a different crowd there like you do through social media. You don't have to navigate that terrain. And so you have a starting point. If you can have a conversation with Jesus, and if you can tell me about it, if you can introduce me to somebody brand new, you're gonna get a special extra prize there.
So here's my argument. Here's what I'm saying. Someone like you, Josh,
You're
you
wrong.
should use Pokemon Go in youth ministry. Let's say Nicole's still in youth ministry and she's on this Facebook page like, holy crap, I'm not using Pokemon Go. What do I do? Don't worry about it. That's not your deal. Like, you shouldn't be forced into using some tool that you have no.
You should be fine with your subpar youth ministry.
Yeah, that's exactly it. You should absolutely be forced into using this tool to become better at your job.
Well, so here, let's test the.
That's like the person who
let's
didn't
test
want to
your
use the
love.
computer because the typewriter worked just fine.
What if?
I'm not saying I'm not going to use it.
No, I know you will.
What if a super rare Pokemon is only in Philadelphia? Do you go?
No, that's a godforsaken city, and then you just
Hey, I'm
go
going
on
in.
your
I'm
own.
going in November.
You'll have
I'll get it for
149.
you.
Is it in
49
Philadelphia?
Pokemon?
Is that the?
I'm going to a different conference, but the other one's in
okay.
Chicago. We can totally poke all in the airport.
Poke. Is that the short?
That's when you eat raw
Turn.
Pokemon is
Pokemon.
short for Pocket
Okay.
Monster. Yeah.
So, but do you say like I poke?
And
No, I
that's
just
a,
said
that's a
that. I have no
food.
idea.
No, I think you just made that up.
I've never played Pokemon in my entire life except 2 days ago.
And so,
Got it.
and here's really the thing. This is the defining hallmark of the millennial generation, right here.
What is?
Pokemon.
You're very passionate about
Because
this,
everybody
I know.
Yeah, he is so into it.
25-ish, around my age there, this came out in November-ish
Chris has
of
no excuse.
1996.
Well, I used to watch it with Josh when we get home from school.
He would take me to all these things. And so he took me to a store one time to buy a Charizard when my parents gave me $5 for doing chores around the house when I didn't realize, and they said you can't buy it if it doesn't
Is
pay
Joe
more than
Barsha freaking
five.
out right now? I want to know what Joe Barsha's doing.
That would be a good question. He's probably up at Pine.
I mean, with Pokemon Go.
And nothing. And so I had a penny in my pocket, and my parents
Joe.
said you can't pay for it if it's more than $5, and that includes tax. So I I found a penny on the ground, put it in my pocket, and I was like, okay, I'm covered. Didn't realize the Charizard was $60, so I wasn't even close. I'm not
So
terribly
I stole
smart.
that too.
Yeah,
Forgiveness is free.
but that is the new motto of this show. Yeah, this is totally the hallmark of our
But it's
generation.
also, I saw a comment that I thought was really interesting. Somebody was talking about going to a lure, and somebody pulled up and they started talking about what teams they're on and all that. And
I don't know about teams. You got to tell me about that.
this person said, "This is the first time I've ever talked to a stranger." Now that was really
That's
weird
creepy.
to me. Yeah.
There is
But Pokemon Go is the cure for a lot of the problems that you were identifying earlier with social media, Garrett.
Yeah, the whole idea of solitude
Right.
and
It's getting
and-
people out and talking to strangers.
and
We're
lacking
being
physical
isolated
communication, verbal
together.
communication.
Right.
Yeah, there is. There,
That's all
I
a
do have
friendship
a.
is.
right.
After doing a lot of research into social media and internet effects, I do have a slight anxiety into the effect of just going outside and being on your phone the whole time. But only time will tell if it melts our brain or not.
It's not gonna. Our brains are already melted. It's no different than being on a subway reading the newspaper and not paying attention to the people around you there, right? I mean, that's all. It's just
Yeah,
different.
I
It's
guess.
just a different time setting for what we're in. Also, people are already talking about the health benefits that they're getting from a mental side of things, helping with depression, helping with kind of the loneliness or with that.
It's called
Finally-
It's called oxygen
And-
and sunlight.
Right, getting vitamin D.
Yeah.
And there's a value in that because, right, you go out and you lose every once in a while, which is good. It's good for the human to suffer some type of small loss. It reminds them that life isn't fair and they're going to die alone anyway. But you also win.
When sometimes the servers crash.
Right. And so sometimes you win, right? And sometimes you win a lot. So it encourages the confidence and it makes you feel a little bit more holistic as a human because you know you're maybe not a total loser like your parents always told you, or whatever it was there. And it's giving people chances to explore. And so
Look, Mom, I'm getting outside. Leave me alone.
Right.
We're playing Pokemon.
right. And so but ultimately I'm pumped, man, because in 4 years our racism will no longer be about white and black and Asian and Latino. It's going to be about yellow, blue, and red there, depending on which Pokemon team that you're
There's
on.
teams now?
Yeah,
There's
so
always been teams.
Once you get to level 5, you can join
Oh.
too.
yeah, so you should probably join yellow because that's the team that Chris and I are on.
There's 3 teams in the
Team
entire
Instinct.
world? I don't. Okay. What's
And
the
so,
point?
but that's good. It's a lot easier to judge 3 teams than
true.
it is to judge skin color because you know the content of the hearts of the other
I
people.
think Josh is more excited about Pokemon than the religious topics we ever have.
And I'm just more passionate about this one because it's new. Religion is old and
and new is
ancient
always good.
and always better. So anyway, I have yet to see anything bad that is not overcome by common sense. Right? Don't be foolish. Be aware of your surroundings. Carry. Right? Make sure you have your concealed carry permit at all times, and you'll be
That would be a
fine.
good
Especially
point.
when
of
you're
advice.
sneaking into people's yard to try to catch a Pokemon.
I tried that yesterday. But it's a.
So we had a lot of fun. I'll tell you what I did. So I just downloaded it that one night or last Thursday, and then I did a lure at my house and I caught a few. And then I did a lure while I was driving, and you can't catch any while you're driving.
Here's a-
Sorry. I was a passenger in a car, and you can get them, but they'll always pop out of your ball when you're driving.
You can catch them when you're driving.
No, well, anyway, so one of my events with my students on Saturday is we were going to a drive-in movie theater in San Diego, and you got to get there, super early. I think the movie was at 8:30. We got there like at 6. And so as soon as the van parked in line, I'm like, let's all go play Pokemon Go. And I yelled that really loud. And I thought some people would hop out of their cars too and play with me, but nobody did. So me and 3 students, we were
That's because you drove a van and asked children to come play Pokemon Go with you.
we played around waiting for they let us in, and then as soon as we let them into the parking lot for the drive-in, since we were the first ones there, the movie still wasn't gonna start for another hour. So we walked around kind of the parking lot driving, and we're catching Pokemon, and I was trying to be really loud and to get some other people in the cars to be like, let's play, but nobody did. But the students really thought it was fun, and I vlogged about it, so it was kind of cool.
It's an easy way to be conversational, and that is one of the huge things that I think we're missing in this generation. It teaches you to not be afraid to use your words, not be afraid to approach people, and there's good value in that, right? It makes
Did you play
confident.
Ingress?
No, I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, it was kind of terrible, but I downloaded it because it was new and better, and it was kind of lame.
Well, that's because you probably didn't utilize it correctly. So
That was fun.
I'm pretty much satisfied. I don't have anything else left to say.
Bring it home.
Anything else? So most importantly, Nicole is here and our guest. And sorry, I kind of shut
Had a
you
lot
out
to
of this
say about
podcast
this, yes.
episode.
We do what young men always do, which is nerd out when one girl's in a room and just completely exclude her from our conversation.
I've learned so much tonight. This is good.
And well, that's how you do ministry. And so, yeah.
Can you imagine a Pokestop? There's probably one at your church right now, but it's a nightclub, so there's for sure a Pokestop somewhere.
Yeah.
So are there limitations with how many you can get?
How many lures
You have
you
to
can
get
have,
them
or how
all.
many Pokemon? You got to catch them all.
Oh, there's 2. I don't know.
Lures are the things that attract Pokemon and subsequently people to your geographical location.
Location.
Pokemon are the ones that you want to catch all of.
Do you have to buy lures with real money?
No, you can get them when you level up there. But here's a great thing: if you're like a small business that's watching this, if you're like a coffee shop, and your place just happens to be a place,
and you don't mind just a little bit of violence,
make lures part of your overhead, and then just go ahead and spend the money. It's for $20 you get 25 lures. No, for $20, yeah. $20 you get 25 lures.
$20 a day to have lures 24/7.
And no, just $20 for a month. You can get 25 lures. You can drop
only
it
half hour.
Yeah, it's only a half hour long. So you can just drop it, once a day.
During lunchtime.
Yeah, during lunchtime or during,
During
5
slow
o'clock
time.
or so.
That's a really good
Get
idea.
people
actually.
to come.
Can
It's
you
an
imagine,
easy-
like,
That's not a bad
Your
idea.
coffee shop is
20
always
bucks,
has a
dude.
lure on it,
20 bucks.
look
People
at it.
are coming around and hanging out there. You can have Pokemon contests, getaways. You can turn it into a gym, whichever gym holds it for the longest time of the week. It's a free thing at the end of the month. Easy way to make money.
Okay, I think you're convincing me. So we have worship Wednesday nights, like our intergenerational worship. And I guess our church, right by our sign, is a Pokestop, which is our worship area. We worship is a huge glass
Just
thing.
make sure
I'm gonna
that
drop
the
a
area
lure.
of worship, people can still reach the Pokestop there, so they can pull out their phone during the worship. area.
No, but people might come and just see what we're doing. And we have a nitro cold brew coffee. Hey, get a Pokemon.
Which is also a
and get
video
free
on our YouTube there. So anyhow, feel free to connect with Nicole. Nicole, what is this that you have here, and where can they find it and you?
I love how you're just involving me in this as I just sat here and listened to you nerd out about Pokemon. It's awesome. This is a 30-day devotional that I wrote called Kingdom Daughters. It's really just for empowering and encouraging women to walk in their calling with Jesus. Maybe I should put this, get Pokemon, drop a lure and put this there.
Yeah.
Is that
In
how
your
you
book?
do that?
Just leave it at random spots. I guarantee it would work. You can find us on the interwebs at faithandwhatever.com. Follow us on Instagram. We post a lot of content there. Faith and whatever. Faith in whatever. Faith, the letter in whatever, at Twitter. I'm at Josh_Carmen. That's at Nicole LYNN Rowan ROWAN. Garrett is at TStudentLife. Jamothy is at JamesYuile. And you can find Christopher at Marion Ranch. Thanks for joining us, and go download Pokemon Go.
Good night.
Right now.